Well, good morning or afternoon or evening. I'm really not sure when you're watching this, but welcome to Accounting 1311, Introduction to Computerized Accounting, or really should be titled QuickBooks Accounting, but I don't get to name it. I'm Jay Simpson and I'm your instructor for this course, and since we probably won't get to meet together this semester, I wanted to take a few minutes to introduce myself and give you a face to put with all the emails that you're going to see and walk you through what you can find in our Blackboard course and where to find it. So when we jump into our Blackboard course, you'll see first of all the announcements. I'll post announcements several times a week. Announcements is the primary way that I will communicate with you. I will also send all of the announcements as an email as well. So make sure that you are checking your MyTCC email. Now, next you'll see the ICR or the syllabus. Now, I'm going to do a separate video over the syllabus, so we'll talk about that separately. And the statement of class policy. Basically, I expect you to be respectful of everyone in this class, whether you are communicating with a DM or a discussion board or an email or through the Teams meeting. I expect you to be respectful. Office hours are held a little differently this semester since I'm not actually in my office. I will be holding office hours through Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is a program similar to Zoom, but we can chat, we can screen share, we can video chat. This is a link to Teams right here, so you would just click it. I'm there 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, barring any sort of meeting or something like that where I'm called away. I'm also available, let me say, other times. So if these times don't work for you, then shoot me an email and we can find a time that's convenient for both of us. Now, the orientation quiz is mandatory. You'll want to take this after you watch the orientation videos. It does have unlimited attempts, but there is a due date. So make sure you take it by the due date and you take it as many times as you need to earn 100 on it. The schedule of due dates is just exactly that. It is a list of all of the assignments and when their due dates are. You can go ahead and put this in your calendar, print this out. You'll notice that everything is due on a Monday. That gives me I know that a lot of students like to work on the weekend, and I didn't want to spend my Sunday nights answering all student emails, so I can answer your emails on Monday. You'll notice that we have 2 exams, a midterm and a final, as well as 2 capstone cases. So you'll want to prepare in advance if you know you've got something big coming up, that these are big assignments that are due. Now, the lessons is where you'll find a lot of the information. So you'll notice for every single chapter, and I only have a few posted here right now, but they'll be adding more as we go on. Every single chapter, there is a notes page. These are the things that I've discovered as I've worked through your assignments, and I've worked through every single assignment that I've assigned to you, and I've made sure that it works, and I've made sure that the grader in my eLab is correct. And so these are comments that I would make. So you can see if you go along through the textbook, I give you a page number and say, hey, looking at this page, we're page 2 to 3, here's some explanation. So things that I would say to you if we were in a regular class face-to-face, I would say, hey, these are the things that I want to point out to you as extra important, or maybe some more explanation, or I'm going to give you tips and tricks. If it's something that I did wrong and got it wrong on the grader, then I want to point it out to you so that you'll be sure to not make those same mistakes. The discussion board is here for you to come in and ask questions. So again, let's say that you're working through an assignment, a project, and you get stuck and you really can't figure it out. Certainly you can email me and I will be happy to go in and look at your submission and answer your questions, but you can also post a question here and maybe another student can answer your question first. I also have the introduce yourself, since again, we probably won't get to meet in person. Let's introduce ourselves here. Tell us whatever information you feel comfortable sharing. What's your major? What's your dream job? What are your plans after you finish at TCC? So we can kind of get to know you. Now, Labyrinth eLab is the program that we are using to submit all of your assignments in. So Labyrinth is the publisher of our textbook, and eLab is their online homework management system, so that you will submit all of your assignments. All of your assignments will be submitted through eLab. And I've got a document here called How to Complete Assignments that's going to walk you through exactly how you do that with screenshots and everything. So click here, click here, click here. I'm going to come back to this eLab in a minute and walk you through some things there, but most of it, you're going to just read and follow the directions. Now, all of your grades will be posted here in the Blackboard Gradebook. Your eLab and your Blackboard Gradebook are not linked. I will manually enter your grades in every Tuesday, so don't worry, the grades will not come over automatically. The QuickBooks certification exam is not a requirement of the course, but at the end of the course, you will be eligible, you will be ready to take the QuickBooks certification exam. And so if you wanted more information about that, I've got some more information there. Also, we will be using Excel in this course. It is mandatory that you use Excel. You will export all of your QuickBooks reports to Excel. And so you want to, if you do not have Excel 2019 or 365 on your computer, you can get that for free using this link. I've also given you some information about advising, about eliminating barriers. This is a program that TCC has if students have financial hardship, and then the course evaluation as well. Now I want to come back a minute and talk about the materials for this course and how you access Labyrinth and eLab. So I'm going to turn on my camera for just a minute. So our textbook for this course is QuickBooks Desktop 2020. So it's really important that you're using the desktop version. There is QuickBooks Online, but that's a different program, and that will not work for this program, for this course. Now, let me say, QuickBooks is not available to download on a Mac. So if you do have a Mac computer, it will not work for this course. It also cannot be downloaded on a Chromebook. So very important that you have, first of all, the right hardware to start with. You do have to download QuickBooks. You have to install it on your machine. It is not web-based, so you do have to install it. There are different options for buying the textbook, but it is absolutely 100% mandatory that you buy the book. You can go to the bookstore on Northwest Campus or some of the other campuses and buy it there. I will provide you with a link to buy it directly from the publisher if you choose. You can choose to buy the regular textbook like I have, or you can buy the ebook, whichever your preference is. If you buy the regular book, let's say that you buy it from the bookstore, on the inside of the front cover, it will come with your activation code. This is what you need to get the ebook. It will also come with the information to download QuickBooks onto your machine. The version of QuickBooks that you are downloading is a trial version. It will be good for 140 days. So it's not the real version, but you don't have to buy QuickBooks, which is a very, very expensive program. You will also need to have the access code to eLab. So again, if you buy this from the bookstore, make sure that it comes with the access code to eLab. This inside thing right here is not the access code to eLab. This is, this is the access code to eLab. So make sure that this is not peeled off, or if this is peeled off, you'll have to buy the access code separately. If you buy it directly from the publisher, it will have the access code to eLab. So again, very important that you have this information, that you have the textbook with you. You have to have this to get started, and you have to have this to do all of your information. Now, once you're in eLab, let me kind of give you an idea of how it's going to look. So when I'm in eLab, this is what it looks like. This is your course right here. So I've gone, first of all, let's go to the Content tab. Under the Content tab, you'll notice there's lots of things over here, one of which is Download Student Exercise Files. You'll want to download these files. They are very large files. So if you're downloading them to like a flash drive, make sure that you get one that is big enough. If you're downloading them to your personal computer, again, you want to make sure you have enough space to download them. They are large files. They are QuickBooks files that you're downloading. They will be zipped, so you'll have to unzip them. So here's directions on how to unzip the files. You can also look under assignments and tests, which we'll go to in a minute. If you do get the printed version of the textbook, come over here to the update report, because they may have found some things that they need to correct or update since they printed that textbook. So make sure that you do that. How you open files in QuickBooks is a little tricky. It's not like you can't just double click on it like you would a Word or Excel file. So they covered the instructions to that in chapter 1 of the book. That's one of the things you practice, but they also give you some instructions here. So let's jump into assignments so we can see all of the assignments. Now, if you see a QG beside it, this means quick grader. This means this assignment will be auto graded by eLab. It usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes for them to auto grade it, sometimes quicker, sometimes longer. So you notice for chapter 1, those 2 assignments that you have to submit are not auto graded. I will come in and manually grade those. Most of your assignments are auto graded with a few exceptions here and there. So you'll see that you have these here all the way through chapter 5 already posted. Let's say that we're going to go in and do this one. So you'll follow along, apply your skills to 1, which you will find in your textbook. So I'm going to jump back here to my textbook. I'm going to find at the end of the book, there is some purple pages. I'm going to turn on my video here. At the end of the book, there's some purple pages. These are the reinforce your skills. And then the orange pages are the apply your skills. So I assigned apply your skills to 1, which starts on page 62. So you're going to follow the instructions on page 62 to complete this assignment. Once you get it finished, you export your report to Excel, which you'll have learned how to do by now, and then you will submit it here in eLab. So you'll come over here, you'll choose file, you'll navigate to where your file is saved, and you can submit it. There is a place for you to enter notes, but I will tell you that I rarely see those notes. Only if you tell me, hey, go in and look at my submission, will I see those notes. So it's usually best if you just email me. So once you've submitted it, you can cancel out or submitted it. It'll go back to your assignments tab and you'll be able to wait for your grade to show up. If you're not happy with your grade, then you'll want to go back into it and open up what's called the feedback file. Now the feedback file is going to show you what you did wrong and what you need to correct. So I've opened up a feedback file from a previous student. So let's pull this up here. So when I open up the file, this is what it shows me. So this student earned 30 out of 90 points. And we can see, first of all, what he or she did not do correctly. Now, you may automatically be thinking, I did that. I don't know why it's counting it wrong. I did that. So let's go over here to this sheet. This sheet is the student's actual submission. Now I can look through here and I can clearly see that they made boarding and made a boarding item and they put overnight boarding as the description. But notice these little red triangles. These red triangles are comments that the grader automatically put in there. So when I hover my cursor over here, I see that it is looking for the description of the boarding service item in column E. Well, I have that information, but I have it in column D, which tells me that I probably ran the wrong report. Also, if I look over here, I see that the price should be in column I, whereas my price is in column G. So this tells me that I probably ran the wrong report. If the information isn't showing up in the correct column, it's probably because I ran the wrong report. You'll see it in QuickBooks that the reports, there's a lot of reports that have similar names, so you have to be very detail oriented and pay very specific attention. Also, let's go over and look at the grading pattern guide. This tells us exactly how the grader is grading it. So I can see that first of all, it is grading, it's looking in column C. And then once it finds what it's looking for in column C, it's going to look in column E and I. Well, when I look over here, column E and I are both blank. So I know that I've run the wrong report. I've run a similar report, but not the exact correct report. Oftentimes, if you find that your information is in the wrong row, it's because you ran the report for the wrong dates. So I'm happy to look through what you missed and try to give you some advice, but always look at your feedback file first, because most of the time this is what it'll tell you what you did wrong and you'll be able to fix it. One thing I want to caution you about is misspelling. So it's really embarrassing to misspell something in business, especially a customer's name. So pay particular attention to spelling things correctly. Now, when I input your grades, I will average all of the grades for a particular chapter together and I'll enter one grade. So you'll notice in the official Blackboard gradebook, there's only one grade for chapter 2, and I would average all of these assignments together to get that grade. So again, I am happy to help you and look through these things with you. All you have to do is shoot me an email and say, hey, I submitted my assignment. I'm really unclear about the feedback, but make sure that you open that and look through it correctly. Also make sure that you're remembering to go through those notes, because I give you a lot of, again, tips and tricks going through those notes. So if you have things that students commonly miss, and I update those and I add to them. So things that y'all miss this semester, I'll add to, and so next semester students will be kind of forewarned about those. Now, one thing that I want to point out, I know it's very tempting to say, oh, especially when I'm short on time, I'm just going to jump to the end of the chapter and do the homework. But that's really not what you want to do. So you'll notice, I'm going to turn my video back on over here, that every single chapter starts with what they call DYS, or develop your skills exercises. And so I've just started here in chapter 2, and we walk through the textbook walks you through step by step exactly what you need to do, how you enter this information, mouse click by mouse click by mouse click, exactly how you enter the information, how you run the report, all of that, detail by detail by detail. It's tempting to skip these DYS exercises, but don't. I promise you, the DYS exercises take you so much less time than if you just skip to the end and you try to struggle through these AYS exercises and you mess them up and you can't figure it out and you have to start over. And there's some things in QuickBooks that if you do it wrong, you can't ever fix it. So then you have to delete the whole thing and just start over. It's a real pain. So take my advice. Work through these DYS exercises. I've worked through every one of them myself, and I promise you it's quicker to spend the time to work through these DYS exercises than it is to just jump to the end and struggle. Students have told me, I've spent 6 hours working this problem, and I'm like, the DYS exercises would take you a fraction of that time, and you would have known how to do it correctly. Again, I know it's tempting to just say, oh, I'll just flip back in the chapter to figure out how to do it. But oftentimes what you miss is the little piece that you did 3 steps before that wasn't in there. And so you miss that, and now it never works right. So don't try to shortcut it and skip the DYS exercises. Just go ahead and plan on doing them. Even if you just do a little bit every night, you don't have to do it all at once, but do a little bit every night so that by the time you get through, you get to the end here, to the homework, you know how to do those, and then they don't take very long at all.